I hope all's going well. I wanted to share with you a quick snapshot of investment philosophy that I've developed for almost 30 years of working in the investment profession. And I don't want to take credit for it. I want to give all the credit to God on it. These are principles I've found by reading through the scriptures. And I wanted to focus on one of the greatest wealth managers of all time. That was King Solomon. And these are his philosophies that have stood the test of time, and many believe that they're inspired words of God. So I want to share these philosophies with you and see what you think. So first, starting with what I've seen in working with people, what is it the most important things that people need to be able to successfully invest? They need to have direction. They need to know where they're going before they try to get there. They need diversification, and they need determination to be able to make it through those storms that come along the way. And there will be storms. So first, let's focus on direction. Direction, the proverb says, without counsel, plans fail. So important to be able to get counsel to your planning. And once you've got a path set, commit to the Lord, whatever you're doing, and the Lord will establish your plans. So it's important when you're putting the plan together to have God in mind. God, what do you want me to do? What is it that you put on my heart that you want me to accomplish? And that takes time. That's something that your advisor cannot tell you what God's put on your heart. He or she can tell you what statistics say, what most people want, but it's your own individual situation. Once we have an idea of where we need to go, what direction we need to go, then we can help determine what types of investments you need and what kind of diversification can we get. And diversification starts with the advisors, believe it or not. I am LaPorte Wealth Management Group. I call it group because it's not just me by myself. I listen to other advisors, other advisory firms, because victory is won through many advisors. And so I have the money managed by multiple different money management firms, advisory firms, because victory depends on having many advisors. Now, you get too many opinions, then all you're doing is buying the market. You're just buying the index. So it's important to have advisors that you trust and you believe in, and that you're not so diversified that you're just buying the market. The prudent see danger and they take precautions, but the simple keep on going and blindly suffer the consequences. One of the things of working with advisors, advisor will help you see what things you need to be cautious of and help you figure out what you need to do to help lower that risk and diversify. One of the things that you can do to diversify that a lot of people neglect is in Ecclesiastes 11 chapter. It's got a lot of verses on money management. First one says, invest your money in foreign trade. Why do you do that? It says, well, next verse, invest in 7 or 8 different ventures because you don't know what disaster may come upon the land. So why do you spread it in 7 or 8 different investments? Because you don't know which one's going to produce a profit, which activity is going to produce the profit. So you spread it over different asset classes. And do you wait for the right timing? There is an aspect of timing in the market, but it's more time in the market that matters than trying to time it. I've found too many investors are like farmers who try to wait for perfect weather, but they never plant. They watch every cloud, but they never harvest. So it's important that to get in there, because everything has a season. There's a time to plant and there's a time to harvest. But the only way you're going to win it is if you're in it. And I want to give you an example of a time in an investment versus trying to time the market. This investment's been around for 90 years. I'm not recommending it. It's not a guaranteed thing, but what I am saying is that over 90 years of history, if you held it for 10 years, you never, ever lost money. You can see that. Never lost money over a 10-year period of time. That's 80 10-year periods of time. Well, Dustin, you said the fund's been around for 90 years. Yeah, but 10 years, you got to minus that out from it. So you can only look at 80 years of history of 10-year periods of time, and it's never lost money. But in the short run, over a 1-year period of time, 19% of the time, you're going to invest the money, and 19% of the time, you're going to see the money go down. So is it a bad investment? Yes, it is a bad investment for people who want to only invest for 1-year period of time. if you're planning to invest for live longer than 10 years, then this is probably a good place to put money. If you think you're living longer than 5 years, this is probably a good place because there's only a 5% of the time that it lost money over a 5-year period of time. So you can see it 3-year period of time, it almost cuts the percentage of loss times it loses money by almost half. And then again, almost half, and then never over a 10-year period of time. So love how it shows that it's not timing the market, it's time in the market that really, really matters. If you're trying to time the market, you're more of a gambler type of philosophy of whether it's gambling. Gamblers they either win or they lose. And Proverbs warns about that type of person. Greedy people who try to get rich quick, they don't realize they're heading for poverty. Trying to just chase the win is a fool's game. Investors never lose unless they sell their investment at a loss or their investment ceases to exist. That's the difference between gamblers. Gamblers get in, get out, get in, get out, get in, get out. Investors stay in because they know that everything has a season. Proverbs 28:20, a faithful person will be richly blessed, but the one who's eager to get rich will not go unpunished. Proverbs 21, verse 5, the plans of the diligent lead to profit, surely as haste leads to poverty. So we looked at that one investment, never lost money over a 10-year period of time. I'm going to show you this investment. This has been around since 1997. I'm not recommending it to you. This is not a guarantee. It's just an example that this investment has had 259 5-year rolling periods of time since this illustration was produced. Obviously, time goes on. This number is going to change, but on average, it averaged around 9.73, and versus a very popular investment competitor of theirs averaged around 7.59. And as far as deviating from that, about a 3% deviation versus the popular investment, about a 7% deviation from that average return. And what's most impressive to me over a 5-year period of time, never has lost money. Is that guaranteed? No, but it never has. Versus the very popular investment, about 19% of the time, it loses money over a 5-year period of time. So the key here is being diligent, staying in there, hanging in there, regardless of what you see in the short run, because everything has a season. And the key is to put investments in the different seasons. Like seasons 0 through 4, those are typically going to be your safe investments that have guarantees by insurance company or bank or the federal government. It's just got a guarantee that you put the money in. 1 year later, you're going to have that money. And what you do is you layer it. You do what they, got one that's you basically take 4 years worth of living expenses and have 1 year maturing 1 year from now, another one maturing 2 years from now, 3 years, 4 years, 5, and so that way you got some safety net there, a cushion there that can allow you to wait for your investments, your longer term investments, to 5 years or greater to grow. And so you got the investments that have never lost money over a 5 to 8 year period of time. You put them there, and then some there, and then some that, as long as you got 10 years or greater, never lost money, then you put those investments over here so you can wait longer to the long term, if it depended on how much money you have. But basically, each one of these represents different types of investments. And you want to spread your assets 7 or 8 because you don't know what disaster will come upon the land. And for example, there's a popular investment again over here on this side, and this is this other investment that's never lost money over a 5 year period of time. You can see when the market went down, well, when this investment went down 2000, down 2001, down 2002, this alternative investment was up every one of those years. And when the market dropped 37%, this investment was up 5.33. Last year, when the market was down 18%, this is last year, we're talking about 2022, this investment was up 7.3. And then you can see this year, when this was produced, this investment was down, but its competitor was up. And so they kind of take turns. And that's why you want to spread your assets 7 or 8, because you don't know what disaster may come upon the land. And then by having that diversification and knowing the direction, having a plan, and not just trying to gamble, say, well, where do you think where do you think the wind's blowing now? Where do you think we should go now? Instead of having that approach, you have a investment strategy where you stay put. You don't try to jump lanes. It's kind of like the traffic in Atlanta, where I try to jump lanes, go to this lane, go to that lane. GPS said I can save 1 minute if I go this way and try to go that way, and it ended up costing me more time. Trying to jump and trying to just time that just perfectly. That for most people is a fool's game. And so it's better to finish than start. It's better to have patience than pride, because pride, you got to control your temper, because if you don't, it will label you a fool. So you don't want to have pride thinking you can outsmart the market. It's better to finish this thing with your finances intact than trying to, I'm going to start this now. I'm going to start that now. I'm going to invest in this now. I'm going to invest in that. It's just craziness. The godly may trip 7 times, but they'll get back up again. But one disaster is enough to overthrow the wicked. And that's what happens. And not to say that the people are wicked, it's just they don't have a direction that they feel that's anointed by God. They don't feel that this is the path that they are called to go, because they haven't made the time to do that. They're not diversified because they're trying to time the market just right. And when you put those things in place, it gives you confidence, so that when disasters do come, you got 7 or 8 different types of investments that you can help make it through the storms of life. And you want to put your trust more than just investments, because trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't lean on your own understanding. That's a problem. Most of us try to lean under our own understanding. Like, I don't understand how that, but I thought the market would go up and now it went down, or I thought the market would go down and it went up. What you need to do is trust in the Lord with all your heart, not lean by your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge the Lord, and the Lord will make your path straight. That means you got to spend time praying, and don't be wise in your own eyes, but fear the Lord. That means respect the Lord and shun evil. The desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. You got to be diligent. You got to stick in there to be able to, you got to win it. You got to be in it. Here's an example. And once again, it's not a recommendation, it's not a guarantee, but I know of investment that's been around for over 70 years. If you put $1 million into it and pulled out 70,000 every year for 30 years, that gives you 40 rolling periods of 30-year time frames. What's the worst case scenario? The 1 million would have grown to 2 million. Now, at times that 1 million would have went below the 1 million, but over the long haul, over that 30-year period of time, that 1 million grew to 2 million. And that's with pulling out $70,000 a year. That's amazing. That's phenomenal. But the key is you got to have direction, got to know where you're trying to go before you try to get there. You got to have diversification, and you need to have determination. And remember, the heart of a man plans his own way, but it's the Lord that establishes his steps. Thank you so much. And I hope this gave you the wisdom that you need to be able to make the best decision for your investments.